FinalPixel Academy is the training arm of FinalPixel, which is a global creative studio, and we focus on end-to-end virtual production. So one of the goals of the training academy was to come in and work with the BNU students and faculty to help them to understand the capacities of virtual production.
We provide screens for universities with colleges to give a better understanding for people who are wanting to learn how to work within virtual production and to enjoy the subject and also to get them ahead of the game, really.
So these students are VFX and animation coming into a studio and doing their first virtual production shoot, which is really exciting to see. So they're learning all the new technologies and the capacities around LED walls, around the camera tracking and also Unreal Engine, and they've written a script and they're now shooting it today to put it all together and glean all the learnings from the few months of pre-vids.
What we found with FinalPixel is that it's made it much more accessible for us to access both the technology and some expertise in how to implement and use that technology. And what we've found is that we've managed to get screens set up and running and ready for our students to use and for us to use in a way that's been far quicker than if we'd simply tried to do it from scratch ourselves. And that has enabled us to bring in students on the animation, on the visual effects and on the game art course.
I didn't know anything about virtual production. FinalPixel came in, gave us a talk about how virtual production works, the process, the steps taken.
Shooting with an LED screen does give you a lot more control. Having done exterior shoots, you're limited by time of day or the weather, whereas in a studio with virtual production, none of those issues are there, so you've got full control over everything.
We had our eye on Unreal Engine all those years ago because it was quite clear that it was moving in a more and more photorealistic direction that was going to become of interest to us.
The panels are literally like Lego blocks. They are 500mm by 500mm panels and they literally lock into each other and have them as big as you want them. So if you wanted to create a 25-30 metre curved volume, you can do, but at the same time you're also capable of actually knocking that down to 20 odd panels to film a very basic back of an elevator shaft, for instance. It's a very new technology. It's really 3 or 4 years old. There aren't enough people actually within the industry in this area at this point in time.
One of the things that FinalPixel is really keen on doing from the academy side is providing that pipeline of talent into the industry to help close these skills gaps. And the partnerships with universities like BNU is a really important and critical step for that alignment to make sure the industry and academics collaborate so that we can get the best of both worlds. We always try to start with the faculty. That's the key to long-term learning. It's also long-term implementation into the university itself, is having the lecturers and also the technical staff that work in the studio to understand what virtual production is, all the technologies that are involved, so that they can feel empowered to then turn around and teach their own students. We help them with co-curriculum design, how to implement it in the classroom with different assessments. We also do not only the theory of learning virtual production, but also practical hands-on. And being able to bring in a mobile VP studio like this, it makes it very cost-effective, it makes it very quick to adapt.
FinalPixel have implemented some great courses, which means that students are getting the opportunity to go out there and get the jobs that are actually relevant to virtual production.
Working with FinalPixel has enabled us to get started much quicker than we would have done. So we're a year, maybe 2 years ahead of where we would have been.
They were very efficient and very effective at being able to communicate to the people who needed to know what to do, what it was they needed to know.
As a student, I feel very lucky to be here at Bucks and the fact that we have these opportunities where we can work with industry to learn everything that we need to know, because there is only so much a teacher can teach you about modelling, 3D and all of that, but then to be able to actually use that knowledge into something that is used in the industry has been so beneficial.
We quite happily work with FinalPixel as Absen, and I'm sure Brompton and some of the other companies that we work alongside as well will be only too happy to actually support, in effect, what is going to be where people are actually looking for the equipment that they need when they actually go out into their jobs.
There's lots of opportunities for collaboration and for innovation, and obviously universities are the seat of a lot of that. It's a benefit for both of us, gleaning the learnings from FinalPixel and what we can bring in, but working on R&D projects together, working on projects like this where we also learn from the faculty and the students on how best to implement those trainings in a way that will, again, meet the ultimate goal, which is filling these skills gaps in the industry.